What's up guys, my name's Avid Beats and in this tutorial I'm going to be showing you how you can make your own sound design FX samples in Logic Pro. FX being risers, impacts, etc. I really hope you learn something new and feel inspired to create your own unique samples. Be sure to cop my knock pack previous video, my percussion and effects sample pack which inspired this video. For the purpose of this tutorial, I'm going to be using my own icebreaker drum kit sounds, which then I can process and turn into usable FX samples. Be sure to cop my Icebreaker, The Bridge and Rainy Woods free drum kits. Be sure to cop my merch. Sign up to my loop and sample mailing list. Without further ado, let's get into the tutorial. So right now we're in Logic Pro. What I like to do first when I'm creating my own impacts and risers is lay out the sounds I'm going to be choosing. So I'm going to be making a riser and impact, so like a kind of effect. And I've laid out all 6 sounds that I'm going to be using. So I think I've got two for the riser, like the whoosh, the lead up, and I've got 4 for the impact. So like a big fat impact that I'm going to layer all these sounds, mix them, and they're all going to work together. So let's preview the sounds first. So as you can hear, some nice sounds. So first what I'm going to do is I'm going to EQ some of the frequencies that I don't want. So I'm going to add an EQ. As you can hear, there's a lot of bass sound in this one, unnecessary rumbling. Also going to brighten some of the high end. I'm going to clean them up later further so they work better together. I want a bit of rumble in this impact because it has some nice kind of bass tones that I want to keep in because it will hit hard in the impact. So now that we've got all our sounds pretty much processed, what I'm going to do is I'm going to work on the riser section first. If you don't know already, to make a quick riser, all you do is add a huge amount of reverb and export that, and then reverse the reverb tail to act as a reverb lead-in. I like to use Valhalla Vintage Verb as it's got a really nice clean reverb sound and it adds some really nice ambience without sounding glitchy or fake. I'm going to bump up the reverb mix so that I've got a lot of reverb to play with after exporting. Also going to add a second EQ on top of the reverb just to brighten up the high end on the EQ. Right now I'm adding some echo. Be sure to decide on your project tempo before starting, as then you've got a clear tempo to work with when adding echoes. To make this sample more in time, I'm just going to chop where the transient hits. As you can see when I zoom in and bump up the gain, you can see the transient is about here, so I'm going to chop that and move it a bit closer to the other transient. Just going to turn on the metronome. As you can hear there, perfectly on grid. So I'm just going to highlight both of them and press Ctrl B. Bounce in place. As you can see, I've got a really nice long reverb tail there. And click the reverse button here. And now I can arrange my impacts to hit on the 3rd bar. And for this secondary riser, has a nice little transient there, which I can then use as the very quick lead-in to the main impact section. So I'm just going to align that where I want. So for this, I'm just going to clean it up a little bit more. And I might add some tremolo, which is stock Logic effect, and it makes things pan around the headphones. That sounds nice. So far what we've got is this long riser. And so now we can start work on the impacts. So this impact starts a bit late, so I'm just going to bring it onto the grid. And with this one, it feels a little dry, and so I'm going to add some reverb to that. Probably a little ambient reverb, like not super long tail. Sounding nice and crispy. Also want to add a little bit of chorus, can give some width. And also a really key thing when making these rises and impacts is to pan each one in different directions, as it gives a lot of width and life to your samples. So I'm just going to add a direction mixer, stock Logic plugin under imaging, which I much prefer to the panning, as it doesn't lose any essence of the sound you're panning. So I just highly recommend direction mixer. And I'm also going to add isotope ozone imager to the master, as I can see exactly how much each side of the spectrum is weighted, and so I can get things to be balanced on the overall master. With this one, I want it to sound in the center, so I'm just going to pan it to the point where it feels right in the center, as I don't want to lose too much of the stereo image by narrowing the spread, although I will do that a little bit. I'm going to add a little bit of distortion, some overdrive, to fatten up the sample. That rumble of the bass is now sounding really hard, so I'm just going to put a little limiter. You don't want your sounds clipping. Also going to add a little bit of distortion to this, this impact here. Feels like it could do with some more punch. I want to automate the EQ filtering on the riser to go so that the high frequencies open up before the drop. Also going to add a little bit of Kickstart, which is a nice cheap plugin by Cable Guys and Nicky Romero. And it's a sidechain plugin, and it's just really easy to use. Adds a bit more rhythm and emphasis on each beat. I'm also thinking of adding some sort of effect to the master channel, just to lift all the samples and make them a bit more interesting, and automating that. Some of the presets are really good in here. I'm just going to actually use one of my presets that I created before. Let me know if you would like a Portal preset bank. Oh, this one's fire. I'm just going to automate that. I'm just going to select Portal and Master Dry Wet. And underneath the Portal, I'm hearing some extra reverb on that particular effect that the Portal adds, which feels a bit like a flanger somehow. I'm hearing the clap delaying and pitching around. So let's hear the final sample. Damn, so that was incredibly fun to make. I really hope you enjoyed watching and learned something from that. Let me know if you want more tutorials, drop a comment below. Make sure to download my drum kits. Much love and respect from me. Peace out, Sam.
Avid Beats.